So we have understood how to create a text file by using write mode, append mode, create mode, and how do you read the content by using R mode, right? So why can't we create any other files, whether you go for Excel or Word document, whether it is possible or not? Yes, it is possible. So let's understand the other modes also, where we have R plus, W plus, A plus. There is no such thing called X plus. So what does this R plus, W plus, A plus will do? And whether we are able to create a doc file or Excel file, is it possible or not? Yes, we'll see all of them. First, let's understand what is the difference between R plus and R. So whenever you are going for read mode, make it very simple. Whenever you're going for read mode, you just try to do one thing. Let me just prove that first. You just try to give a dot, again give a dot right of hey, and just try to go for a dot close, because you are performing both. Whenever you are reading, you are giving already read mode, because there is no need of mentioning the mode also. I'll just show it. When I click on run, you can clearly understand. You see, the content is printed, but it is unsupported operation. It is not writable. That means whenever you are performing read mode, you cannot write the content into it, right? That is the clear point when you are working on read mode or the any other mode of operation. Now let's try to understand how does this plus modes will help you. So when you go for R plus, R plus is clearly, when you just work on R plus mode, it opens a file for reading and writing. It opens a file for both reading and writing, and placing the pointer at the beginning of the file. Placing the pointer at the beginning of the file. This is very important, where with the help of read mode, R plus mode only, we can read the content. At the same time, we can write some content into it. Okay, how is that possible? Let's try to prove it. So first, what do I do is I'll just try to give a is equal to open off. That file should always be created. I'll directly go for socket.txt and I use my mode as R plus. Okay, when I gave R plus, first thing what we need to do is we'll try to first read the content. Print of a dot read. Okay, so when I save and execute, what happened? Bingo, you got every output. It's fine. Now first, let me try to write some content into it. A dot write, because as I told you, it opens for a file for reading and writing, placing the pointer at the beginning of the line. Remember that point. So I'll give, hey Saket, it's there, right? I'll just try to give Python code. I just gave in this way. Save, and I'll just try to execute this. Let's see what happens. There you go. What happened? You can see hi Saket has been removed here and nothing is printed. What does that mean? Some change has happened, right? Now let's try to open the file and see what change has happened. When you go for socket.txt, you can see Python code has been replaced in place of hi Saket. You can see entire thing has been removed. It will count the each character, and that is where it will perform both read and write operation. What do you mean by write? The previous content is removed, right? So this particular word, whatever you try to write, it will fit into the beginning of the line. And if you want to check once again, you write some more word here. I just write data science. Okay, now save and click on run again. There you go. The particular word is completely removed and this hope is moved ahead. That means that entire content is added into the text file. You see, data science hope. Counting all the spaces, the word is printed. So when you go for R plus, clearly it will allow both the operations. It will try to read the content into it. It will write the content into it. But you cannot clearly see what is happening over there. You should open a text file. That's where it will allow for both operations. Remember once again, when you perform R, it will not allow you to read. But when you perform R plus, it will write the content, but that content is not printed on the shell, because the change is being happening in the text file only. Always keep that thing in mind. That is very important. Just make it very simple. Now when you go for W plus, W plus is basically, it also does the same thing. I mean, opens file for writing and reading, but the previous content is removed. Opens a file for reading and writing. Write and read data into a file. Opens file for write and read data into a file. Right, read and data of a file, it's fine. Read and data of a file, but the previous content is removed automatically. It performs both the things. And previous content, when you are going for write, obviously previous content is removed. Just keep that thing in mind. So what happens when we try to give some file, it can automatically create, right? That's where we are giving W plus. So first let's try to see that. I'll give some D is equal to open of, I'll try to give the file name as sunny.txt, and I'll go for W plus mode. I'll go for W plus mode. It is not whether it is present or not. Let's first check that. There is no file called sunny.txt. There is nothing, you can't read from that, right? So basically what you try to do over there, first try to give an existing file. What is an existing file? Saket.txt. I am just giving W plus, and first let's try to give print of D dot read. So save and just execute this, then you'll understand. Oh god, you got some empty space here and there is no content printed. Let's see whether we see in the text file. See, the previous content is completely removed. But the thing what you should do over there, if you clearly understand, when you're using W mode, it will not allow you to read also. It will just throw you out. Let me prove it for you. When you just write and when you just give this thing, it will give you unsupported operation. That's what my point is. W plus will allow you to write some content into it. I mean, if you just make sure, instead of reading it, what you can do is, you can just write first some content, a dot write of, hope you are doing good, okay? And I just wanted to first try to read it, print of a dot read, and I go for a dot close. Even don't expect that this thing will be read, because W plus will allow you, when you're writing, it will allow you to read. That means there is no error. What happened? A dot write, sorry, I think I have given the variable name wrong, sorry. It's D dot write and it's again D dot read and D dot close, my bad. It's D dot write. When you just click on run, automatically you see there is some space here, the cursor is blinking. That means the content should be updated here. There you go, right? That is the clear difference when you go for W plus and W mode. When you're using W mode, there is nothing like read operation. It will give you unsupported operation. It will not allow you. When you go for W plus, you can write the content, and again you see, if you give doing good, you expect the previous content is removed, right? Save and execute. There is empty space here. That means some change has happened. Go to the file. See, doing good. That's where you go for W plus. And again we have one more thing called as A plus. As the name itself says, it is for reading and appending. When you go for A plus, again, it is basically opening a file for append and read data of a file. The file pointer will be placing at the end of the file. That is basically for, it opens a file for appending and reading. Appending and reading. So what we can do, I'll just give the already pre-existing file. It's very simple for us. I'll just go for A is equal to open of, I'll go for sunny.txt because it's already created previously, sunny.txt, and I'll go for A plus. So just keep in, depending on the modes, make it very simple. It will be easier for you. I'll go for A dot write off. If you want new line, just give new line. Good going. This is what I wanted to give. Good going. That means this content should be updated into that. Good going, and keep it up. This is where I'm just giving some text, dummy text. It's up to you what you wanted to give. And even if you try to give print of a dot read, Don't expect the result, but it is just allowing you to perform that operation. That is what plus modes of W plus and A plus are. So hit run and you can clearly see, you can see empty space and cursor is blinking. Go to the location and see the file. There you go. See, previous content is present and you got new line. Good going, keep it up. That is where you can clearly see A plus mode is being worked. So it will just allow you open file for appending and reading. So this is how these plus modes will work. And why cannot I go for another file formats? What happens if I go for A is equal to open of? I want to create a document file, docx. How do you go for it? Go for write mode. Just click on save and click on run. Oh God, successfully executed. You see, this is space here and there is no space. That means the file should be created. You see, saket.docs is created, and once it is created, what you can do? Just try to write some content into it. Hey, hi. In that way, you write some content and close the file. Whenever you are performing other files, just make sure that it is created and you see it should try to open and see. But don't expect the result when you are trying to open the file, because it's from another extension. It will not allow you. You see, Word experienced an error. That's where you can see it will not allow you to write the content into it, but the content is written. You cannot read it with the open command. Then what you can do? You have a shortcut, no? You can just give print of a dot read. There you go. If it is content is present, it should fetch you the result. That's where change the mode to R and execute this. Bingo, you got it, right? In this way, you can go for Excel format or also Excel format or docs, but these are from Microsoft software, right? That's from Microsoft. It's a software package. You don't expect the file to be open, because Python is a different software, Microsoft MS Office is a different software. It will obviously create the file, but you cannot open it and see it. You just use read method. So this is how you can go for creating any file, but basically the text file is the normal and genuine way, or it is the basic format present in any operating system. These docs, PPT, PDF, which we create for our own purposes. So this is how we understood how to work on file modes by creating files and understanding how do we write content into it, append and exclusive create mode. This plays a very vital role because this is only possible in Python, of where you try to create a file in a single line step and read content from it. That's where if you wanted to relate the same thing to any file format or reading content from web API by scraping the data, that's where we use Python for data analysis, and that's where we have pandas. So this is where open function plays a very vital role, and this marks the beginning steps for understanding the same thing in data analysis. So just make sure that you are good with this and keep on practicing it.